Now, so we go to part 4 of this lecture, meet microbiology. So we talk about microorganism. We talk about microorganisms which are associated with meat. Okay, I don't know if you can read, but this word is very common. Okay, microorganism. We talk about them, which are associated, mean which are related to meat. Of course, this is just introduction, so we don't talk in detail. We look at what the main practical things to know. What do we need to know? And these are practical. And we talk a little bit about microbial growth. When we say microbial growth, we doesn't mean that they grow inside, mean they grow taller or larger. No, micro growth means that they multiply in number. Okay, and then we list out the methods to control and to destroy microorganisms. Microbes mean microorganisms. Control means what? We can control them. We don't want them to grow. We inhibit them. But destruction means what? We destroy. We kill. And a little bit on food poisoning, ngộ độc thực phẩm. So this is a very big issue, not only in developing countries, can occur everywhere. And people are getting sick or even die out of food poisoning. So this is also a big challenge for us, for anybody to look at and to deal with it. And then we know many things. So what are the essential things that we should do? The main practical things to know. We should know first, microorganisms are always present on fresh meat. When an animal is still alive and when she is living, walking, eating, breathing, and in contact with environment, even in contact with the feces from herself, things like that. So microorganism is everywhere in the body. In the skin, it's also in the intestine, inside, in the mouth, in the nose, everywhere. Of course, not how do you call that? Not in the mushroom, not in the meat, but microorganisms are many places like that. So when we do slaughter, whatever we control, microorganism can always contaminate into the fresh meat. Okay, so the fresh meat always carry microorganism. And the second thing we need to know is that microorganisms grow fast on meat, grow rapidly on meat. So if we don't keep the meat in a fridge, if we keep the meat at room temperature, favorable condition like that, microorganism will grow very fast. Why? Because meat is actually a good source of nutrient for microorganism. Not only for human, of course, meat is also a good source of nutrient for human, but good and easily digested source of nutrient for microorganism. And the third thing to know, microorganism, sorry, microbial growth is the main cause of spoilage. Spoilage là hư hỏng thực phẩm. Okay, so why do we do food processing, food preservation? Because we need to extend the shelf life of food. We reduce the spoilage. But the thing we must do is that when microorganisms grow, it will cause spoilage. The food will be spoiled. And the main cause of that is from microbial growth. Food spoilage can be from what? Can be from chemical reaction, can be from biochemical reaction, can be physical damages, but the main cause and many cases or most of the cases is because of microorganism. Right? So that is why it's like a big fighting between us and microorganism. Okay, fourth, The more the meat is cut, the greater the microbiome grow. So the more you cut the meat, the more microorganism will be in the meat, will grow in the meat. So if you have a lot pieces of meat like this, if you cut into smaller, when you cut into this many smaller pieces, it's actually what do? You increase the surface area. Okay, you increase the surface area, you increase the contact with environment, with the chopping board, with your hand, with knives and things like that, and bring more in bacteria. When you increase the surface area, maybe some nutrient will be released nutrient inside be released outside, and it will have microorganisms grow even faster. And when you expose like this, you expose a lot to oxygen. Here the surface is smaller. If you the more you cut, you increase the surface area, remember. Okay, maybe I'll just explain a bit. So you see, if what a rectangle like this, so you the surface area will be six edges, right? But if you cut into two halves, you will increase into more two edges here, right? So the more you cut, you actually increase the surface, you increase the contact, you increase the exposure to oxygen. So the aerobic microorganism, aerobic microorganism means the microorganism that need oxygen to grow, they can grow very fast. Okay, and what else? You release more nutrient, you bring more contact with the environment, more contamination. This is why the more you cut, the greater the microbiome grow, the greater the microbiome contamination as well. When I say microbiome grow, mean they grow fast in number. When I say contamination, mean the level of the number of microorganisms from outside contaminate into your food. Contaminate là nhiễm nha, nhiễm bên ngoài vào đó. And then five, and this is also very critical to know. Temperatures affects the growth of microorganism vigorously, strongly. Yeah, that's the reason why we put our food in the fridge to extend the shelf life. Because when we reduce the temperature, we will reduce the microbiome growth. Because temperature plays an important role in microbiome growth. If we leave fresh meat at room temperature, after 8 hours, the fresh meat will spoil, will be spoiled. Okay, because it's very favorable condition for microorganism to grow. Unlike raw milk as well, if you put at room temperature, after 6 hours, the spoilage already appear. Okay, in this point that we need to memorize well here is 10 to 63 degrees C. This is we call, this is critical warm zone. Critical warm zone mean the zone of the warm temperature that microorganisms grow fast in this range. So either to preserve, to store the food, you need to lower than 10. That's why you need to put in a fridge. Or you increase to above 63, mean you kill the microorganism. You destroy them. Pasteurize already. Pasteurize là thanh trùng đó nha. So if you increase the temperature to above 63 to 100, what we call it, pasteurization. Okay, and this is more critical to know. Microbial growth is also the major cause of food poisoning, ngộ độc thực phẩm. Food poisoning is like when we eat the food which is contaminated with high amount enough of pathogens or the pathogenic bacteria, pathogenic microorganism means the microorganism that cause people sick when we intake a sufficient number enough, we will get sick from it. So the microbiome growth is also a major cause of food poisoning. So you hear a lot about food poisoning in Vietnam, like 10 people get sick, 12 people get sick, 100 workers have to hospitalized, go into the hospital, and so on like that. And you look at the reason, and major and most of the region is because microorganism, especially when we talk about meat products and fresh meat thing like that. So we have to deal a lot with microorganism because from beginning fresh meat already has a lot of microorganism, and during processing, if we don't control well, they grow a lot very fast, and they are very nutritious for microorganism to grow. So they may have many issues if we don't know or if we don't do accurately, properly.